You talk a lot, don't you? Unconsciously, you send thousands of questions into the void. Why not yet? When will it come? Oh universe, can you hear me? Those sounds shatter into the emptiness. You think you are communicating, but in reality, it is just the restlessness of an unsettled mind. Amidst the storm of anxiety and longing, the call of your soul is buried, like an ancient song forgotten in the chaotic ashes. You don't know that the universe doesn't listen to words, it listens to presence. That is a hidden truth. The words from your mouth never reach the stars, but the vibrations from within you spread across all dimensions of space. The universe does not respond to fear disguised as prayer, but only to the true vibrations emanating from the deepest layers of consciousness. And when you remain silent long enough, when all words have fallen like dry leaves, you begin to hear another sound, the whisper from your soul. Not a voice, but an awareness. Not a demand, but a state of pure existence. And it is at that moment, when you no longer try to communicate, that the universe begins to listen. Because in the end, you have learned to speak in your own frequency. There is a strange moment that no one warns you about, where you no longer whisper prayers, no longer ask the universe for anything. You stop. Not because you were desperate, but because your soul suddenly knew that what you were seeking was not in the pleading, but in the very presence of stillness. When you stop asking, you truly begin to listen. No longer is it the voice of fear, of scarcity, but a deep sound, hidden in every breath. A subtle signal that the universe has never abandoned you. It's just that you are broadcasting on the wrong frequency. You used to think that talking to the universe meant having to say a lot, recite the mantra correctly, and visualize clearly enough. But the shocking truth is, the more noise there is, the more the soul is pushed away. Ancient souls do not shout into the void. They whisper through silence, letting the ripples of their vibrations spread like ripples in a still pond of consciousness. And when you stop, when you cease asking, why hasn't it happened yet, a sacred space opens up, where everything begins to happen. That silence is not an end, but a gateway. Inside it lies a secret that only those who truly let go can touch. When you stop asking, you also stop doubting. And in that energy, pure trust begins to resonate like a faint light amidst the endless universe. You don't need to say anything more, because your soul begins to shine, and that very light is the language the universe listens to most clearly. You once begged for love, money, healing, but in the end, you no longer want anything. Not because you have given up, but because you have understood that everything truly belonging to you does not need to be fought for. Your silence becomes the most powerful proclamation. The universe is not governed by volume, but by frequency. And when you are silent, it's not that you disappear, it's that you synchronize. There are people who spend their whole lives demanding but never receiving, because they don't truly believe they deserve it. But when you stop asking, you send an implicit signal that says, I am ready. There is nothing left to prove, no conditions left to meet. You are no longer the one searching for the light. You are the light. And from that moment, everything began to change in ways that cannot be described in words. Invisible doors opened, signs appeared without reason, and the friends you needed to meet showed up as if they were a predetermined code of destiny. This is the final challenge. Can you stop long enough to hear yourself? When you stop asking, you compel the universe to respond, not with words, but with arrangements, with flow, with energy that aligns with your true self. That is how the soul communicates, not by shouting, not by bargaining, but simply by becoming. You used to think the journey of awakening began with searching, but no, it begins the moment you stop searching, from complete surrender, from standing naked before the universe and speaking in silence. I remember who I am. And the universe will whisper back, finally, you have returned. Beneath the veneer of beautiful words, pretense, and borrowed beliefs, there is always a truth resonating, not loud, not dazzling, but persistent and indomitable. That is the frequency of your soul, and once you start resonating with it, all the artificiality begins to crumble. This is when the vibration of truth rises. You don't need to shout that you are awakening. You don't need to prove your enlightenment. When you truly touch the truth, your body knows, your energy changes, and the universe quietly adjusts. You begin to feel a gentle yet profound vibration, as if each cell is recalling an ancient melody it once knew. It's not learned knowledge, but a sacred memory activated from within. Truth has its own frequency. It does not depend on belief or opinion. It cannot be bent by desire or fear. When you step into that space of honesty, all distortions automatically recede. Those who don't fit will leave. Situations that no longer resonate will fade away. And you won't need to force anything anymore. Truth does not require effort. It only needs presence. You can feel this vibration the moment you stop living for others. When you no longer try to fit into the mold, no longer strive to prove something as good enough. A gentle liberation occurs. The frequency of truth is not loud, but it is so powerful that the entire universe has to rearrange itself to align with you. It doesn't need to fight because it cannot be defeated. And the strange thing is, when you start living your truth, some things will leave. Some people will no longer recognize you, because most of this world operates on illusions and repetition. But you can never go back. Once you have felt the truth, its pure resonance, its primal freedom, you will never endure falsehood again, whether in words or in your own heart. No more masks, no more roles, no longer the need to be understood or accepted. And you will be surprised to see that at the moment you are honest to the core, the universe embraces you with all its tenderness. Opportunities come mysteriously. Souls on the same frequency appear without being summoned, because the truth always leads to synchronization. Let your body be your compass. When something makes you feel tight, tense, or cold, that is not the truth. But when a small decision calms your heart, when a word makes you feel at home, when a simple action brings tears of relief to your eyes, that is the frequency of truth resonating with you. This is not a truth to boast about. This is a sacred truth, protected by the soul and only given to those brave enough to touch it with complete humility. When you start living according to this vibration, you don't just talk to the universe, you sing with it. And in that melody, everything you ever dreamed of no longer needs to be pursued. They will come to you. Truth is a frequency. Not everyone can hear it, but everyone longs for it. When you become its embodiment, you become the guiding light in a world that is lost. And sometimes, just one true soul is enough to change the universe.
You no longer need the strong blows from fate to pay attention. When you are in sync with your soul, the world begins to speak in whispers. The signs are no longer strange or random. They are fragments of light on the dim path, guiding you through an invisible space that only the heart can perceive. This is the moment when everything around you begins to whisper, softly yet clearly. You step out of the house one morning and a feather falls right in front of you. A strange song plays when you're thinking about someone. A series of repeating numbers appears on bills, clocks, and license plates. Others might overlook it, but you can't. Your soul has learned to listen without ears, to feel without touching. Those signs are the answers, the confirmations, the hints from the depths that the mind often overlooks. You no longer rush to find what is right, because everything right will come to you in silence. A glance, a feeling, something nameless, but you know for sure it has meaning. The universe doesn't shout, it doesn't argue to be believed by you. It only whispers to those who have learned to listen with their souls. Dreams become more vivid. Chance encounters become fateful. A line in a seemingly ordinary movie makes you burst into tears. because you no longer live in a one-dimensional physical world. You have stepped into the energy field of messages, of frequencies, of unspoken language. And there, each event carries a sacred meaning. Signs are not always sweet. Sometimes they are warnings. A chilling feeling when you step into a wrong place. A strange hesitation prevents you from doing something in haste. A seemingly golden opportunity fades away because something deep inside tells you that you are not ready yet. The universe whispers not only to guide you, but also to keep you safe from what no longer resonates with your soul. And you start to trust, not blindly, but like a child who knows their mother is always there. You no longer have to struggle against life. Each sign is a small hand gently pulling you in the right direction. Sometimes you still doubt, still fear that you're imagining things. But then something strange happens, and you know your soul is being guided. You become perceptive. What others see as coincidences, you know are orchestrated. Sudden emotions, strange intuitions, inexplicable events, all connect into a vibrant map that only you can read. And the most important thing, you are no longer alone. You start to feel that something is walking with you, not outside, but inside, a higher consciousness, an invisible guide. We once hoped for a sign from a lightning bolt in a clear sky. But when your soul begins to speak, the universe responds with a whisper, light as a breath, deep as the ocean. And if you are quiet enough, true enough, open enough, you will hear it, the whisper drawing the path you were born to walk.
You don't notice the change immediately. It doesn't come like a storm, without the thunderous roar or brilliant light. The transformation begins like an underground stream, quietly yet powerfully. You start to see the world with new eyes. No longer too painful when someone leaves. No more rushing when things don't go according to plan. Something inside you has shifted. An old anchor has just been lifted, and you are drifting to a deeper place. You feel less need to prove yourself, no longer too concerned about what others think. The things that used to make you anxious now seem small. You no longer try to be accepted because you have started to accept yourself. And it is from that silence that you begin to see clearly. Most of the old pain came from resisting your true self. Now you let go, and in that letting go, you move. Your relationship with time is changing. You are no longer immersed in the past or obsessed with the future. The present moment becomes the place where you truly live. A gentle breeze passing by can also move you. A warm cup of tea in the early morning carries the significance of a ritual. Not because the world has changed, but because you have changed the way you perceive the world. Everything is sacred when viewed from the profound presence of the soul. You also start to speak less and listen more. Not because you have nothing left to say, but because you understand that some truths can only be heard in silence. Your presence begins to emit a new frequency, gentle, serene, yet making others feel safe. And you realize you don't need to do too much, just be deep enough, and that alone is a gift to the world. Things don't get easier, but you become stronger. Challenges still come, but you are no longer caught in the whirlpool of anxiety. You walk through the pain with a quiet beauty. You no longer run from the darkness. You step into it, embrace it, and find the light within. This is not an external victory. This is an inner victory, a place where you no longer need anyone's recognition, for the universe itself has witnessed your awakening. You start attracting souls like yours, no longer having to forcefully hold on to those who are not on the same frequency. Deeper relationships emerge, not for gain, but for resonance. Conversations become genuine. No need to wear a mask, no need to play a role.
Because when you live authentically, you invite the truth to come to you. And the most profound thing is, you feel lighter. Not because the world is less heavy, but because you have let go of burdens that do not belong to you. You walk with an open heart, but not easily hurt. You know that you will stumble again, but it's no longer frightening. Because now, each time you fall, it's just another chance to be reborn, becoming a version closer to your true self. Transformation is not the destination, but the never-ending journey. And you have begun to step into it, not with big decisions, but with small shifts. Each moment you choose love instead of fear, authenticity instead of pretense, listening instead of arguing. That is the silent transformation, and also the most brilliant miracle.
You are no longer the person you used to be, but you also don't need to go back to pick up the pieces of the past. You have transcended the phase of breakdown, stepped through the door of awakening, and now you are embodying your true self. No longer is there a separation between the inner voice and the outer actions. You no longer just talk to the universe. You are the soul whispering to it in every breath, every choice, every step taken through this world. You no longer beg for help, no longer asking the universe what to do. You no longer seek guidance from the outside as before, because now all the answers lie within you, like the twinkling stars gradually revealing themselves after the night. Your silence has become a language, and the universe responds not through words, but through a stream of feelings, gentle signs, strange coincidences, profound vibrations from other souls touching you. You understand everything without needing to understand it all. Your soul begins to guide you, not by plans, not by strategies, but by vibrations. The places you go, the people you meet, the decisions you make, all are reflections of a deeper, truer frequency. You are no longer pulled by fear or ambition. You are guided by inner steadiness. It is an unfeigned feeling, a gentle certainty, a reasonless faith, a step without a clear destination, but always in the right direction. You start to speak, but your words are no longer echoes of the ego. It carries something greater, the energy of awakening, authenticity, wisdom not from books, but from the very experiences of the soul. When you speak, others listen, not because you are convincing, but because you are resonating. Your presence becomes the message. No need to shout. A glance, a touch, a nod, all carry the weight of a soul living true to its essence. And then you realize you no longer need to talk to the universe, because you and the universe are no longer two separate entities. You are a part of it. Each breath of yours is a prayer. Each step is a flow in the sacred music. You don't ask for anything, but you are given everything you need. Not because you deserve it more than anyone else, but because you have become a stream of energy in harmony with the very laws of the universe. When you are love, love comes. When you are light, light spreads. When you are a soul, other souls will recognize you. Enlightenment is not actually a pinnacle to be admired. It is a state to live in, not as dazzling as fireworks, but gentle like the dawn light filtering through the morning mist. You live with an open heart, no longer pushed away by reactions, but drawn in by intuition. You can be silent all day and still feel complete. You can walk through a chaotic world and still maintain inner peace. And that's when you know you are no longer just someone who is searching. You have become a torch, not to illuminate others, but simply to be present as yourself. A soul that has found its voice, touched the truth, and is living as a vibrant part of the vast universe. This is not the end point. This is a new beginning, a place where you no longer ask, how do I connect with the universe,
but start living as if you and the universe have never been apart.